jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to have a stress-free holiday. Hey! Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life, and today we're going to talk about how to Christmas without stress. Except I don't know if that's actually possible. Maybe we should name it How to Christmas with Less Stress. But that doesn't sound as fun. We're going without stress. Without stress. Zen pose. Ching. There are two main things that come to mind as far as what you need to do to have less stress during the holidays. And one of them is about changing your mindset, and the other one I'll tell you about here in a little bit. But the first one is about changing your mindset. Your expectations of what the holiday is supposed to look like and what would be a perfect holiday, and those around you that are also spending the holiday with you or that kind of thing, what they think a perfect holiday would be like might not be the same thing. Even if you're married, even if they're your kids. Your expectation of a perfect holiday just might not be the same thing. Their expectation of a perfect holiday could mean getting up and ripping open all of the presents and then laying around in their pajamas all day playing video games and things. And your expectation of what a perfect holiday would be might be a big family gathering, fancy dinner thing with mistletoe and your fancy dishes. Recognizing that there are two different expectations and both of them can't actually be met because you can't actually stay home in your pajamas playing video games all day and have a fancy dinner on the same day. They don't like that. That doesn't match up, obviously. When you realize that those that you're spending your holidays with and that maybe your expectations are not the same and they want this and you want that, what you need to do is you need to sit down and you need to find some common ground. As you're meshing family traditions, think through things that you have either done together or that you've done that you have found enjoyable, relaxing, not stressful, just super fun, and just were very, very important memories for you that you would like to continue. And see if there's some common ground. Holidays are significantly less stressful when you decide ahead of time with those that you're going to be spending the holiday with what are important to you and what kind of things you're going to leave behind. Because if it isn't something that is fun and happy and fulfilling to you, it's probably something you should leave behind. When you're making this list of things that you really loved, it might be important to add a small list to the side of things that you really hated, or things that did not turn out well, or things that you really just don't want to repeat because, well, they were stressful. When you got finished with it, you're like, well, that's an hour I can never have back. Knowing what is like your worst items also helps you decide what your best items are on your list and what really is important to you. Holidays are significantly less stressful when your expectations are reasonable. Your traditions, your own family's traditions, don't have to be what everybody else does on the holidays. Many people will bake cookies, and like baking cookies is like super important to them and what they think of when they think of holidays. But maybe baking cookies isn't your thing. And maybe instead you load the family up in the car and you drive through the neighborhood with the most Christmas light displays on your way to the grocery store. And at the grocery store, every single person picks out their own package of cookies. And you take home these store-bought cookies and you just lay them out buffet style and watch a movie together while you're eating store-bought cookies. And maybe that's your cookie Christmas holiday tradition. Or maybe you don't even have a cookie holiday tradition. But you have to do what works for your family and kind of figure out how it works best for your family and not try and just take whatever everybody else does. And the second thing that we're going to talk about related to stress-free holidaying, you need to create some boundaries with your time and your money. And so let me just say that again, because that's a really important thing. Let it sink in. Create boundaries with your time and your money. Holidays can be very, very stressful because you overbook yourself and you overspend yourself. You need to act your wage and not spend more than you should. Like, if you don't have enough money to do that, then don't. When it comes to setting boundaries on your time, making this list of things that are important to you and that you've worked together with those that you're going to be celebrating the holiday with, these are our key items and these are our most important things. When you've made that kind of a list, it is much easier to set boundaries on your time because you can take those items on your list and you can put them down on a calendar so that everybody can see this is what we're doing. And then when other offers come along, you can say, no, that's okay. I'm all holidayed out. It allows you to realize where your boundaries need to be for your holidays to be less stressful for you. Perhaps for you, going out and going to parties is super relaxing and you just love it. And maybe going out and going to parties is not super relaxing and you don't love it. Maybe you really love this party, but you don't love that party. In those, if that's the case, well, if you're thinking about it in black and white, you probably should go to the party you love and not the party you don't love. Even if that bothers some people. Set some boundaries. It's important for your own mental health that you have boundaries. When I think of the holiday season, I think of pouring water into a cup. And each one of those little drips of water is another activity or thing that you can do. And your cup is only so big. And so eventually you get to a point where your cup runneth over with activities. And so you need to decide what is your full level on your cup. Because full should happen before it runs over, but it probably also happens before the water hits the top of the cup. Because if the water's at the top of the cup and any jostling happens, it runneth over. And so you need to decide what your comfort level, what kind of space, head space you need at the top of the cup, what kind of downtime space you need to be able to feel comfortable with the amount of activities that are going to be presented to you. And when you get to that level, when you've reached that, I'm pretty much full up, I don't feel comfortable with any more activities, I need more downtime. When you reach that level, then insist on more downtime and just say no. Creating boundaries with your money. That topic is like a whole nother video, budgeting, but I am going to mention a few things related to money and the holidays. And the first is this really, this is a novel idea. I'm pretty sure that nobody has ever thought of this idea before. Or at least nobody with credit card debt after the holidays. And that is, you don't have to buy everybody a gift. And you do not have to buy your kids 50 gifts, or even 10 for that matter, even 5. You don't have to buy them the latest things. You don't have to spend all that money. It is okay. And you will have a much less stressful holiday if you don't have this heavy weight of financial debt looming over you and you're oh no, please don't get me. You have to think these things through. Don't spend too much. Create a Christmas budget. Look at how much you actually have to spend, how much you can spend without going into debt and without not being able to purchase groceries the week after Christmas. Look at that, how much money that is. Maybe it would be beneficial to you to withdraw the cash and have it in an envelope. And when the envelope is empty, then you're done shopping. And maybe that's what you have to do to be able to keep on a budget. But you need a budget. Just a little side note about budgeting, and that is, a budget is not an evil thing. A budget actually gives you permission to spend. If you put, I'm going to spend $50 on a gift for this person, well, guess what? You have I should say a budget that is reasonable, because If you make a budget and it's not reasonable and you are like budgeting money that you don't actually have, well, then this doesn't work. But assuming that the budget is reasonable and it is money that you actually have to spend, and you like make your list and you have, a person, you're like, I'm going to spend $50 on a present for this person, and then you have permission to spend $50. And I don't know, it makes it a lot easier to spend money when you have permission to do it. In the end, your holiday is probably going to be a little bit different than what you expected. And understanding that will help you deal with the small little snags that come along that alter your course onto perfected holiday bliss. You have to understand that it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay, and like revel in it. Understanding and having reasonable expectations for what would happen on a holiday or during the holidays helps you decrease the amount of stress that you have in your life. Because the stress comes from when you don't feel like you are being able to fulfill the expectations that are placed upon you, whether they are placed upon you by somebody else or by yourself. It's from unfulfilled expectations. When you aren't able to pass out enough of yourself to meet all of the needs that are like placed on you, then it starts causing stress. People can have just about anything that they want, they just can't have everything that they want. If you want less stress, well, then that means that you have to pick and choose. And if you don't want to have to pick and choose, well, then that probably means you're going to have more stress. And there you have it. The key to holiday success without the stress. It's really a matter of picking and choosing. It is a holiday buffet. Don't overeat. Don't overschedule yourself. Set some boundaries on your time and on your expectation and on your budget, on your money, those kinds of things. That is what's going to give you a happy holiday and a less stressful holiday. And with that, I'll see you next time on A Lolly Life.